Here on Cold Hard Football Facts, time for our prime number segment here on the Pulse Network. I'm Butch Stearns along with Kerry Byrne. And in this segment, we look at one individual and the numbers they put up. And it's hard to overlook Drew Brees, although he didn't get as much attention as Tebow and Brady and everybody else this week. But Drew Brees, 32 of 40. Think about this. Just 8 incompletions, 412 yards. You want to talk about efficiency. 80% completion rate. His average reception was 10.3 yards. His longest was 47, so it wasn't an 87-yarder in there. He had 5 touchdowns and no picks. I mean, that's a fantasy day for the ages. That is a statistical day for the ages.
It's unbelievable. And the one thing about him that he doesn't get enough credit for is his accuracy. I mean, he does pass a lot. He's only 304 yards away right now from breaking Dan Marino's record with 2 to play. So that record's done. I mean, he's going to own that unless Brady or somebody
for most yards thrown in a season.
Most yards. But right now, more impressive to us because we look at efficiency indicators at Cold Hard Football Facts. 71.5% completions, on pace to break his own record set in 2009 for the most accurate season in the history of football. And, for a guy who's only about 6 feet tall, he's not a big man. It's really impressive, and he is a catalyst, and he almost is underappreciated in a lot of circles.
Yeah.
I mean, that Super Bowl meant a lot to his career, changed the way people looked at him. But he's probably, the 5th most talked about quarterback in football this year behind Rodgers, Tebow, Brady, and and then
Peyton Manning, even though he's out, has been talked about.
Then maybe Drew Brees. I mean, for a guy putting up historic numbers, nobody's talking about.
Well, let's look on our prime number segment. We look at an individual, so that's Drew Brees. But let's look at the numbers and let's start thinking about the Saints' playoff chances with those numbers. Again, we just painted the picture. They made first game might be outdoors in San Francisco.
Yep.
They're 6th overall in your power rankings overall. So they're a good football team. I mean, no disrespect to their defense. It's ranked 21st in your defensive passer rating. So they're just like the Patriots, aren't they? Or is their defense better, or is their offense better?
There's 3 teams that are almost carbon copies, the Patriots, the Packers, and the Saints. They're all prolific offensive teams with great quarterbacks, and all with huge question marks on defense. The Packers last year, they were the number 1 scoring defense in football, and this year they're not quite the same team. They're not forcing the same number of turnovers, the same number of sacks. They're not doing a lot of things they did really well last year as well this year. And the Saints are really, they're just not doing anything well on defense. It is an offensive team, and I worry about them going out to San Francisco. Can they put up 21 points on San Francisco? I think that's a legit question right now when we look at how good the 49ers have been defensively.
Well, when you ask the question, can they put up 21 points in San Francisco, I'll point to 2 of your numbers that I think say they can. I don't know if they will. And here's the 2 numbers. They're 2nd in your quarterback rating.
Yep.
I mean, think about that. The Saints, you always think Brady, and we'll get to the MVP discussion in a second, but you always think Brady Rodgers. Drew Brees in the Saints offense is 2nd in your quarterback rating.
Yeah.
And by the way, in a historic year that Aaron Rodgers is having, he's got 109.1 rating that you have him having.
Yeah, I mean, he has one of the highest. He's having one of the greatest seasons of all time, and if not for the numbers Aaron Rodgers would be putting up, I mean, there'd be a lot more Brees talk. It is fascinating. I mean, number 2 in offensive passer rating, number 2 in real quarterback rating, our indicator that takes into account rushing and sacks and fumbles and all that. So he's obviously not a running quarterback, but they're protecting really well. I mean, I'm looking at their offensive hog index right now. Number 1, the best offensive line in football, the Saints have. Number 1 in third down offense. They're converting 55% of third downs, which is unbelievable. Number 1 at protecting the passer. They suffer a negative pass play, a sack or pick on less than 6% of dropbacks. And they're pretty good rushing the ball, by the way. Number 6 in the NFL at 4.7 yards per attempt. The problem, though, Butch, balanced teams are the ones that tend to win championships.
Yeah.
On the other side of the ball, number 30 in run defense, number 30 at forcing negative pass plays. They have no pass rush. Teams that have no pass rush get burnt year after year after year. The Packers last year, number 1 at forcing negative pass plays, a huge factor for them. And this year, the Saints 30th in that. I think that factor will come back to haunt them.
So you mentioned the Packers, the Saints, and the Patriots all being the same type of teams, and I'll sum them up this way. Can they stop the bleeding enough so their prolific offenses can win the game for them? And here's the one number, again, that you guys have that I think paints a picture about the Saints. They're 3-1 in games against quality opponents. So they've won 3 of the 4 games. Now, I didn't look close to see if they were all at home or they were all in the dome.
I'm willing to bet that they're all at home because they've been playing scoring over 40 points per game at home, something ridiculous like that. That's not the most telling figure. I mean, a lot of times your great teams will have 5, 6, even the really great teams will have 7 quality wins by the end of the year. I just think this team is probably more flawed than even the Packers and Patriots, I think, because of their lack of pass rush. They don't have as many turnovers, and just the dichotomy between how they play indoors and outdoors. And I mean, I like Drew Brees. I like the Saints. I think it'd be a great story. And I think in this season, there's so many weird things going on and so many, imperfect teams that they could make a run at it. But they're probably third on my list of teams to come out.
Well,
of the
let's
NFC.
remember how this season started, and it could end in the NFC the same way. Thursday night, September 8th, the Saints and the Packers, 42-34. It was just a classic shootout in week one. It could end in the NFC Championship game the same way.
It could end like that. By the way, looking at the quality standings real quick, Baltimore is still 6-0 against teams with winning records. Green Bay 5-0. The Patriots 5 quality wins. The Saints, are kind of another level below those teams right there in terms of beating good teams over and over.